It's time to run strategic ads that actually convert.
You don't need a huge ad budget to scale, which is why many of you are boosting because you think a few dollars here, a few dollars there. But ultimately, that's just wasted money. So, we're going to help you today think through how to create strategic ads by creating creatives that force people to click. So we're giving you everything that goes into our ad creative formula, how many, what kind, and what to say.
Yeah, for sure. So the first thing that we want you to do is really take a look at your graphics, right? So what do you want to include in your graphics? Is you want to basically split test a couple items. For us, bold copy always works, like big bold text that speaks directly to your audience's pain points. And we're going to get to the caption here in a little bit on what to include in that. That leads into your caption, but really bold text that makes them want to stop their scroll. It's no different than, organic, except for you really want to really narrow down, and Greta's going to talk about SEO here really soon, but what text, but make it bold, make it stand out, make it your brand colors, any images of you versus stock image. I know many of you know this, but you want to connect your brand to you, and everyone if everyone's using that stock image, like I've seen it before, when you're using it, it's like, oh, that brand used the same stock image as that brand. Don't be that person. Like it's super easy to like take a picture in high quality now with our phones these days to just like snap an image of you really quick. People really resonate with real people, right? It builds trust, and then it provides clarity on exactly what you're doing. So if you run a split test of your bold copy with a couple different images, for example, don't make too many variations either of that. So if you have a text that you really like, that really resonates with your audience, you know this because you probably have watched our other videos, and we talk about how you're going to take that, what's working in organic that speaks to your audience and that pain point, you're going to, slap it on an ad creative, and maybe you change a couple images and you A/B and test that. And you're going to know which one converts, and you're going to be able to look at that data here. So it doesn't need to be super fancy when it comes to graphics. Really simple, bold text, an image of you, like a professional image of you that can connect you to your brand, and then a caption, which Greta's going to talk about here next.
Yeah. And I want to emphasize it's going to carry over into that caption, but utilizing SEO verbiage on that bold text on your graphic and then carrying it into your caption is so important now in ads. When we're looking at broader audience targeting, which is what's currently working in the ad realm, that's all based on your SEO. Not to mention that when it comes to SEO, what was just traditionally looked at as like your website and things like that is expanding so much farther now with AI and the way things are being categorized. So the more that pretty much anything you're putting out has SEO included in it, the better. So that applies both to your graphic, and then now I'm going to talk about our caption formula. So when we think about our captions, we want it to have a really solid hook. Again, we're trying to stop the scroll however we can. So whether that's your bold copy on your image or a hook that makes somebody think like, huh, or I want to read more. Really focus on having that hook be solid. And that's another thing that you can A/B test. We then want the caption to focus on a transformation, the key elements that you're offering, what somebody can expect to get from you. And then ultimately, it's going to end with an invitation, whether that's to book a call, sign up for your live event, grab the free guide, be very direct, and create that sort of arc of like hook, stop their scroll, transformation, what is it you're going to offer, and then how do they get that transformation? Is it by whatever it is that you're doing? So remember that you are talking to a cold audience. So you're going to want to be very clear, very direct, very to the point. And again, I'm going to just say it again. You also are going to want to use SEO terms because that lets your audience know that you're talking to them as well. And we want to make sure that we're not just writing for clicks, we are writing for that audience. So you want to speak in a way that you know your ideal client wants to hear. And this is super interesting as people who run ads. We have people who tend to go shorter, catchier, punchier captions because they know that resonates with their audience. And then we have other ads that we're running that are like literally mini novels. But we know that that's what their ideal client is looking for based on the way that their organic content is performing. So don't just write for clicks, write for your audience, know what inspires them to take action. And if you want some examples of captions that have converted, make sure to click the link below for our guide to ads that convert, and you'll see sort of the different types of captions that were used on ads that actually generated revenue.
I love that, Greta. And that goes right into the next point, our final point of this video, which is your ad script. It's really not too different than your caption. They should really tie in very well together. It's just a verbal explanation of what's in the caption. And so you're like, well, why do I have to say what is already in the caption? Well, if you remember and you know psychology, you know that some people like to hear things and they had to see and hear things in different ways, right? So they should go together and speak the same language. And it's not going to be too much different than what Greta said as far as what this ad script template is like. So now get on to video ads. So when you do video ads, you want to do variety. And usually when we're testing video ads, we're usually testing 2 to 3 different ones at a time. So like Greta said, one might be like a minute and a half, one might be 30 seconds type of thing. And you want to make them short. And it's no different than organic as well, but it should have a hook, like Greta mentioned, like a hook that's catchy, 3 seconds. Call out your avatar, speak to a pain point. So are you a coach who's tired of relying on organic to get leads, right? So something like that would be for us for, running ads. We specifically we know that we're calling out coaches who are tired of, the algorithm and organic. And so a pain point and then a solution. So like what's in it for them, which is maybe you have, this one, 5-minute video that can show them exactly what to do to beat the algorithm or, adjust this, for instance, for us, adjust, as SEO optimize your captions immediately with using these 3 ChatGPT prompts that are on our ads that convert, right page. So you're doing that and making a promise of what's in it for them. And then you're providing a solution for them, for us, ads that convert, complete solution. They know exactly what their solution is. If I use this tool that you are about to provide me, that you say download now, like Greta said, like tell them exactly what to do. Download now, click learn more, register. If it's like a webinar, you're actually telling them exactly what to do. And then if you provide proof as far as results or testimonials, that's even better. So it could be your own proof. So for example, we have scaled, 5 companies this year to 7 figures just by using this one thing in our ads that convert. You're exactly telling them what their, results that you've gotten from it and other people have. And then you're doing the CTA. And you can do the CTA. Sometimes the CTA, Greta, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes the CTA can even be in the middle. Like if it's a longer video, even too, like register today. It doesn't really have to be exactly at the end when it comes to that. But again, play around, A/B test that for your audience, but make it super simple. Don't try to reinvent anything. It's not much different than your caption. You're just verbally stating the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the beginning of this video, we promised that we would tell you our ad creative formula, which is how many, what kind, and what to say. So when we think about what kind, we've told you today you're going to want to include really bold text graphics or ones that include images of you as well as videos, which Judy just talked through. Hopefully you're walking away knowing exactly what to say because we've basically told you that this entire video, but if you remember nothing else, it should be that everything that you're creating for ads is SEO rich. And then in terms of how many, we typically aim to have 8 graphic images, and then we do approximately 2 to 4 video-based ones, which can be a lot of the same content, just testing different hooks. So when you think of having to record 4 videos, you're not writing 4 entirely different scripts, you're just testing kind of that hook at the beginning. Or you can test out some different ways to say your CTA or the placement of your CTA. So again, we have our ads that convert guide that will help you to see literally ads that have convert. And ultimately, the next step is my favorite, and what we'll be talking about in our next video, is that when ads are live, the next step is tracking what's actually working. So in our final video in this series, we're gonna walk you through exactly what to look for in terms of your benchmark KPIs and how to know when to pivot and or do another A/B test to really maximize those results from your ads.
Sweet. Bye, everyone.